Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name's Teresa and I'm the Carbootcrafter, and I hope you had a fabulous new year. We certainly did, with lots of family round, and so it was lovely. But I'm coming on today with a card. Now this is a rather special card, although it's quite easy, relatively easy to make. But it does use a lot of your stash. So if you've got some paper pads that you want to do some stash busting, ideal for you. But we start off with an 8x8 card, then we open it up, and inside we've got another, then another, and another. So you can see you're using up, or you're going to use a lot of your stash to make this one. So it's either for someone very special, or you want to get rid of one of your pads or finish off one of your pads. So let me bring in all the bits that I need. So I've already mat and layered all of my patterned paper. So I've got black card and my patterned paper, and I'll go through all of those sizes through the tutorial. There'll also be all the sizes in the description box below, so please do have a look at those. So let me bring in my scoreboard. Now the first thing you're going to do is take a piece of A4 card. This is a cream card, but you can use whatever base you like, and you're going to slice it so that it is 8 inches across. So just that you're just slicing off that 1/4 of an inch there. That's if you're in the UK. Then you're going to pop it in your scoreboard and you're going to score it at 8. So this is our very base, you know, the very background piece. So just score it at 8, fold it over, and there you go. So that's the base of our card all sorted already. Now I've got my scoreboard out, I might as well keep it out. So to make the inner card, you're going to have a piece that's 6 by 6, and a piece that's 7 by 6, and you're simply going to score this at the 1 inch mark. Or if you've got 8 by 8 card, you can cut that down, and if you've got a 6 by 6 card already, card base, then you can use that. You don't have to do it in this way. So once you've done that, bring in your 6 by 6, and it's just a case then of gluing that down. And let me grab in my glue and pop it down. Now this piece will be glued down. This is the back of the card here, this is the back, so this piece will be glued down, so don't worry that you're going to have that piece on show. So bring that across and smooth that down. Just going to pop it under there to hold it in place. Then you'll also need, for the very centre piece, a piece that's 8 inches by 4 inches, and another piece which is 5 inches by 4 inches. And this piece, your 5 by 4, you're going to score, I'm going to score it at 4, so that I've got this inch here. So I'm going to fold over, and I'm going to do exactly the same as I've just done with my 6 by 6. I'm going to glue it onto here, but before I do that, I'm going to score this in half at 4 inches, just like that, and fold that over. Make sure that's nice and level, and then reinforce that fold. So I've got a 4 by 4, and then I've got my 4 by 5 which I'm going to glue on. Okay, so let me just pop the glue on all the way down like that. And then I'm going to glue it onto one of my edges. So the way I do it is I fold it in half, and the open end I butt up to that score mark and fold it over. And that way I know that this is in the middle, so that I can put it, I can use this, the back will be glued down in the middle of my 6x6 so that it opens like that. Look, there we go. So this card does take a little bit longer for the glue to grab, so I'm just going to reinforce it a little bit more there, and then I'm going to pop it over here under something heavy. There we go, that'll do. And then I'm going to move this out of the way. So next step is to start putting it all together. So I've got a piece of patterned paper which I've mounted onto some black card. Now the black card, because it's an 8x8 base, the black card is 7 3/4 by 7 3/4, and then my patterned paper is 7.5 by 7.5. So, and we just need to glue this in place. A little bit of glue down the middle there just to hold the paper in place. And just make sure I've got it the right way round, which is that way. And we're going to put it on the inside, just like that. So line it up so it's nice and straight, and you've got that cream border all the way around the outside of your mounted paper. Okay, right, that is sticking up just a little bit, so I'll go over it again. Okay, so that's the inside of your card done. Then this piece, which I'm going to pop on here, so it's 7 3/4 on the black, 7 3/4 inch on the black, and then 7.5. Let me just double check. Yes, 7.5 on the black across, and then your patterned paper is 7.5 by 3 1/4. So I'm just going to glue this in place as well. And then once I've done that, I can start work on my 6x6 piece. Well, that should be dry by the time I've done this. I just want to make sure I get all those edges. I do sometimes miss the edges and then have to come back in and re-glue them. So let's pop that on. What I'm trying to do here is get it level, but also make sure that this follows on so that my black is level there as well. Okay, so get those corners, because I've glued them and I left them for a couple of hours to dry. They have curled up a little bit on the corners there, but never mind, that'll take care of it. I'm going to pop it over there. Actually, I'll pop it this side and lay it like that. Now, the 6x6 card that we've just made, so this is going to be the back. Okay, so that means that this is the front. If you remember, it opens the opposite way, so it opens that way. So I'm going to bring in the papers that I've chosen for the inside of the card. There we go. So these two are going to go on the inside. So that's easy enough to do, and because they're not, because these don't have a direction, it doesn't really matter. I can just pop them straight down. If you do have a direction, do remember to check the angle of your, the way that your card opens, so that you're not making your card as you would normally make a regular 6x6 card, because otherwise it won't open the wrong way, as it were, for the card, or the right way for this card, should I say, perhaps. Right, so that's that one down. And let's get this one down as well. So these are, so it's a 6x6 card. So the black cards that I'm gluing at the moment, that is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and the patterned card, the patterned paper that I've layered on top of the black is 5 1/2 by 5 1/2. So I'm going down 1/4 of an inch each time. If you use an 8x8 and cut that down, you'll have to check your measurements on that, because if you cut it down to halfway, then you might have to measure up your measurements a little bit. Okay, so that's a bit high. We'll go quiet when I'm laying it down, just because you need to concentrate, don't you? So let's get all of those corners down as best we can. There we go. So that's the inside of the card almost done. And remember, this crease, this is the back. Okay, so I want my card to open this way to me, or that way to you. If I do it so that it's the right way to you, that might help. Okay, so my front of that card is going to be this one. Okay, so it'll open that way. So again, exactly the same measurements as the papers and the card on the inside. It is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 on the black card, and 5 1/2 by 5 1/2 on the patterned papers. So pop that down, line that up carefully. That's a little bit, just ever so slightly high. That's better. Okay, put those down. Now on here we want to have a topper, so I've left a bit more of a gap there, and the black card measures 4 3/4 by 4 3/4, and the pattern paper is 4 1/2 by 4 1/2, and we're just going to glue that in the middle as well. So that's the front of our 6x6 inner card done. So let's pop that down, being very careful to check that it's level by eye all the way around. There we go. Oops, that slipped, didn't it? Let's bring it up again. And yeah, there we go. That's better. As I move my hand, it all slipped, which is not what I wanted at all. Now here you have a little choice. If you wanted to save on papers, then what you can do is glue your paper in and have that as the front, like that. Let me glue it in and show you a little bit more detail. Just take your 6x6 card, and this is for both designs regardless of which way you want to go with it. Plenty of glue on. As I say, this card is very absorbent and doesn't like to glue very well, so you have to put a little bit extra on than I would with perhaps some of my other card, possibly because it's very, very textured. So there we go. So using by eye and making sure my backing card's the right way, and put that in the middle. Okay, now on my original card, you can see there's a topper, then you open it up and you've got your other card inside. If you didn't want to, you could save and not make the extra topper, because you could do it like that, and that in itself is a card. If you wanted to stop there, you could, and just put somewhere for your greeting on there, and that is a beautiful card on its own. I'm going to carry on and do the rest of it by putting the topper on the front as I planned. So again, I've got a piece exactly the same as matches in there, but I am missing my 6x6 piece. Where's that gone? I should have. Knew I would. Right, hold on one second while I just grab another piece of card. Don't know where that's gone. That's very frustrating. Let's grab a piece of card and I'll cut 6x6. Where's my... There we go. Pop that on there. I'm probably wasting card here. 2 pieces. I don't need to cut 2. So 6 by 6. Ooh, that's locked. Right. Okay, let's get rid of that. And I've got lots of waste card. So this piece gets glued onto your 6x6 piece of card. So I'm just going to glue. So this piece, so you've got a piece of 6x6 crepe card as you're there. So your black card measures 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and your patterned card is 5.5 by 5.5. So I'm just going to get this on here. Make sure that's all lined up and my borders are even. There we go. And then I have my other topper. So again, this one measures the same as the insert, 5 3/4 on the black card and 4.5 by 4.5 on the inside. So 4 3/4 on the black, 4 3/4, 4.5 by 4.5 on the inside. This one, as you can see, I've mounted on foam. So I'm just going to make sure I've got, because this bottom, this paper has got an orientation, very, very slight one, but it's there. So let me take off. This is just the Poundland foam tape, which I really like actually. Even I don't normally like the strips, the rolls of it, because it can be a pain to cut and you clog up your scissors and all sorts, don't you? But this one doesn't seem too bad. So again, I'm just going to hover over and lay it down by eye. And this then goes on here. So line it up really carefully and put it on there. So I'm just going to make the tiniest little mark, top and bottom, so I know not to go beyond that with my glue. So taking my glue down like that, that's well away from those 2 marks. So there we go. And just to make sure it holds, I'm just going to put a bead of glue down on the card, this card, on the black, a little bit on the pattern, just to make sure that I know that I've got right up to the edge. And I'm going to make sure that it lines up perfectly with the card underneath. There we go. So that this now hides the card underneath. And before I forget, I'm just going to get rid of that little tiniest of pencil lines on there. So that is almost finished. We now need to work on our inner card. So it opens and closes like that. So this is 4 by 4, so you'll need 5 pieces of 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 black card, And then I've used this. Now these have got all sorts of sentiments on. I'll show you the paper packs before I finish. So these are my toppers for in here, but what I'm going to do before I do anything else, I'm going to glue it into here, and that way that's going to help me decide which way round I want my toppers. So I need to make sure that I'm putting glue on here. So which way do I want this to open? I want it to open that way. So make sure I'm holding it the right way so that I can do it like that. Plenty of glue on again. And then lay it down. I like to do it this way rather than make it and then glue it in, just because I need to decide what I want on the front, and although I decided on which ones to use, I don't always decide which one I want on the front here until the last minute. So that's making sure we've got contact with all of that. Open it up, push that down a little bit more. So I've got my 5. I'm going to lay them out in front of me like that. Now I know this one I want to put on there on the very back so that I've got something to write on, and it's something to lean on when I do write it. So all the way around the outside again, and a little bit in the middle just to hold it all down, and then pop that in the middle like that. Again by eye, just to make sure that it's central in there like that. Now then, I've got all of these that I want to put down. So I want one here, one here, one here, and one here. So what do I want on the front? That might be the easiest one. So this one's got some lilac in, so I think that one's probably going to be the best on the front because the lilac matches the lilac background. So let's pop that on like that. Now I'm not going to cover the back that you can see here. I'm not going to cover this, but if you wanted to, if it bothers you, then go ahead and do it. Use the same measurements as I told you for the front. Let me just get that down and I'll show you which ones I mean. So yeah, the same measurements for this to go on here, and then the same measurements for this paper, the black, and this background paper if you want to cover there. But it doesn't bother me. I'm not you know, I'm not worried about it, so I'm going to leave it like that. Now I'm thinking the 2 green to go there, which means that my bloom where you are planted will go on there. So glue. It's a lot of gluing, and it takes a lot of time to do all the cutting out. It's long, it's not complicated, as long as you kind of follow the measurements. It's quite easy to put together once you've got them all done. So let's just, there we go, lay that down, open it up, and I'm going to pop these on there. So these are lovely sentiments, and I'll show you the book in a minute. I picked it up at a car boot sale that these ones came out of, but the rest of the papers was a pad that I was gifted. Now I want to say it was raspberry, I can't remember whether it was. So if it wasn't and it was you, I do apologise. It has been a while. I've had them for some time, and I really do like using them, love the colours of them. So there we go, that's that one on. And last one, and then I'll give you a flip through, and then I'll show you the papers I used in case you're interested. not everybody is, so I always leave it to last. Well, not always, I sometimes do, but there we go. Last one, glue in place, make sure I've got it the right way round and pop it on there like that. There we go. Bring that up just ever such a little bit there. That's why I like wet glue for projects like this. Just gives you a little bit of wiggle room. So let me fold that over that way. Oops, never mind. And I will do your walkthrough. So there's the front of our card. Have a blooming lovely day. Then you open it up for a wonderful person. Then life is, and you can put another topper there if you want to, or you could put a little message there. Then we've got the rest of us here, and I'm going to put our names to and from on the inside there. But I'm going to leave that to dry a little bit more. There's my original one. Like I say, you can cover that over if it bothers you, but it doesn't bother me, so I'm not fussed. I'm going to leave it. Okay, so the papers I used, let me give you a quick show of them. So the paper tree are the ones that have got all the sentiments on, and this was about £1, and I've used lots of them, so there was quite a lot there. But that was about £1 at a car boot sale. And then this is what was gifted to me. So springtime blooms. So this is all the papers in there, and then the paper pad scene and sentiment toppers, which were gifted to me. As I say, I think it might have been Ros, but I'm not entirely sure. Might have been the Christmas swap that we did a few years ago. So there's that, and then by the last piece, so for the biggest pieces, I use the paper tray, a touch of elegance, and like I say, I'm busting this stash now, nearly done. But yeah, so I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed the, how I've made it and put it together. And if you do want to make one, have a go by yourself, then tag me in it if you take some photographs and upload them. And all the measurements are in the description box below. So if you like my channel, please, I'd love it if you gave me a like and a thumbs up, or leave a comment in the box below. Oh, getting my bone folder. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye for now.